Hello, everybody. I just wanted to give you guys an explanation for your final exam, which is going to be monologue writing. So you have attached is a slideshow, and you can see, as I'm sharing my screen with you, that all the information is on the slideshow. But going to the second slide there, I wanted to let you know that I do have office hours, or you can private message me, or call me, or text me, or whatever if you need one-on-one help, and we can set up a meeting. Okay? So starting with slide 3, it talks about the 3 steps that you're going to do for this process. One is you're going to start with storytelling by looking at a picture and basically telling a story about it. Okay, the next part is Story Mountain. Some of you guys might know this from English class as being Story Hill. There's several different names from it, but it's just kind of the diagram of the arc that every story takes. The last part is that you're going to be writing your own monologue. Okay, so let's go through the slides and see how this is done. The first part is a picture is worth 1,000 words. So you're going to go to the next slide and you're going to choose any one of these 4 pictures. Remember, not all of them, just pick one of these pictures. And I want you to explain, notice here it's underlined, explain what events are leading up to this picture being taken. So if you're doing this one right here, what has just happened with this guy and this girl hugging? Or if you're doing this picture here, what's happening here? What has happened to get to this point with this man and the dog? Okay. All right. So then on the next slide, this is where you are going to explain this. What events led up to this picture being taken? And you're going to type your story right here. Also, title your story or the picture. Okay, now if I click on it, you'll see a text box comes up, and I can, where it says start typing here, I can just either delete this and start typing, or I can just, right after the dots are there, you can start typing away. All right, on the next slide, you're going to answer the questions below. So what drew you to the picture you chose? Go ahead and click on it and answer. What did you notice first in that picture? Click on it and answer. Now, when you do answer it, you will notice that, things are going to start going down as you type away, and that's okay. All right. If you would like to type and change it to a different font color to make it stand out a little bit better, that would be lovely, but you don't have to do that. Okay, going to slide 8, we get to the second part. How does a story work? And explains to you Story Mountain. And this is very similar to what you guys have learned in English classes called Story Hill. The only difference that you might notice is we put these little peaks in here, okay? And that just goes to show that during this part right here, which is the rising action, sometimes we do get like little mini or minor climaxes that happen during the story until we get to of course, the major one. A lot of this information is on the next slide. So of course you want to read all the information that's on the slides. And then it says on the next slide, write out the definitions in your own words. Do not copy and paste. So when I go to slide 11 and I'm supposed to say, what is an exposition? Please don't go back here and just copy and paste this information there. Okay, you can go back to refer to it and read it, but then put it in your own words. Okay, if you copy and paste, I will not give you credit for that. And I can tell, remember, I can go on your revision history and see that you've copied and pasted instead of typing it out. So please don't do that, okay? Then you're going to analyze a monologue. On the next slide there, on slide 13, here's a monologue from Hairball by Lindsay Price. You're going to go ahead and read Bradley's monologue right here, okay? Then you're going to go to this slide and basically tell us what the exposition is. Tell us what the rising action is, what the climax is, the falling action, and the resolution. And remember, you're going to do it according to this particular monologue. Okay, when I go back to the directions, it says for every step on the mountain, write the line or describe what's happening in the monologue. So you can go ahead and type what is happening at that part. If you want to write the line, this is okay for you to copy and paste. If you're, I'm fine with that, like you taking something like this and copying it and pasting onto the exposition or something like that, okay? All right, next slide. Third part, monologue writing. This is where you're going to start writing your own monologue. Okay, so there's some directions given on this green slide here. Your monologue must, make sure it's in first person. That means using I or me or my or mine or we if you're talking about you and somebody else. That's all first person point of view. Okay, and read those bullet points there. And of course, you're going to write your monologue on the next slide. You're going to choose one of these prompts, whichever one you like. Okay, so I might choose something like, I had nothing to do with it. Here is what happened. Oops, I got a typo there. I gotta need to change that. I had nothing to do with it. Here's what happened. I'm gonna actually start typing that right here. And then where it goes, it goes. Remember to follow the process of what? Story mountain. Okay, so obviously you have your beginning of the story. Much of your story in the monologue is going to be the rising action. The climax is going to happen really more towards the end and lead directly to the resolution. Now, even though the word resolution has the word solution or resolve in it, it doesn't really have to end happily, but there should be a feeling of it ending. Okay, even when you guys watch your movies or read your books that are broken up into 2 and 3 parts, and you know there's gonna be more to the story when part 2 comes out, but it really does make it feel like it's ending at that moment and it doesn't have to go on. Okay, so that's what I want for your monologue. So when you get to the last slide, this is where you're going to put the title of your monologue right here, and you're going to click on this, and you're going to start typing your monologue right here, okay? And then, of course, you have 2 weeks to do that. You have this week, and you do have next week to do that. It will not take 2 weeks' time unless you need it to take 2 weeks' time. It really could be done in 1 week's time if you'd like, but I know that you might have extra assignments or finals for your other classes. There's also a holiday in there, so just, giving you a little bit of extra time if you need it. So all of this is going to be due by May 31st. That is the end, Sunday night. The following week, we have 4 days for final exams, but this is going to be your final exam. It would be the same as if we were in class and we were doing a presentation. It might take a week or 2 to do, but you guys are going to do this assignment, okay? All right, hope that helps.